and find 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 emotion. This is called grounding. Hello, it's Mandy. I'm going to be talking about anxiety and stress a little bit later. I first just want to check in how you're all doing. Are you still keeping your journal? Are you coping? I think a lot of people that I've seen are feeling very, very despondent at this time as we're moving into level 3 on the 2nd of June. And just try and just hang in there a little bit longer and just take it one step at a time. Keep journaling and keep just keeping yourselves busy, keeping your structure in place and not allowing boredom and fears to come in. So when we're talking about anxiety and stress, I think a big anxiety at the moment is the children starting to go back to school. And I'm just going to quickly speak about this, but I will go back into a lot more detail afterwards because you've got to prepare your grade 7s and your matrics to go back. So just as parents, you've got to try and be as relaxed as possible when you explain everything to them. You need to speak to them and see what they understand about the whole COVID. What do they understand about the wearing masks? Do they enjoy wearing masks? What is social distancing? Perhaps you need to show them what 2 meters is so that they know. The matrics will probably be easier to explain to, but know that they're going to be excited about seeing their friends and they're going to want to go and hug all their friends and say hello. Just caution them about this, and also to just prepare them that they are going to have their temperatures taken at school, and this is basically what it looks like a little hairdryer, so that they know they're not taken by surprise. And all the hygiene and other, the washing of the hands and the sanitizers, all of those things, just explain to them again. Because if you're prepared, you're less anxious. But as I say, I'll go into that in much more detail later. It's just to give you something to give to your children as they go back to school on Monday. Now, when we think of anxiety and stress, it very much comes from the adrenaline that is excreted from the amygdala. We spoke earlier about the freeze, flight, fright, all of those, and that is the adrenaline. So when there's a lot of adrenaline, it causes inflammatory mediators, which means your immune system is attacked, and this can cause a cytokine storm. So all of these inflammatory mediators are attacking different parts of your body, and usually it is the breathing, the lungs, the heart as the main areas that are attacked. So one has got to be very careful that the fear of COVID isn't actually causing more problems than the actual disease itself, because the symptoms initially are very much the same. So one has really got to try and bring down your fear of what is happening so that one can start getting back to a normal life. Now, some ways of doing that, and to just think of your matrics now. They're already stressed because they're in their matric year, and I'm sure they are becoming more stressed from teachers stressing them out, asking them what they've done, and perhaps even parents at home. So instead of questioning all the time about how much work they've done, why aren't they working, why are they taking a break, just sit and listen to them and ask them what their fears are. What are they anxious about? And to help with this anxiety, they need to take lots of breaks. Every 45 to 50 minutes, they need a break. Because with the anxiety and the adrenaline, it attacks the prefrontal center of the brain, which is responsible for your executive skills, which is your short-term memory, your reasoning, your problem solving. So if you're stressed, you can't do any of these functions, which are extremely important when one is writing exams. So the breaks are important because the brain also needs a break. Music is very good. Quiet music. Exercise. Getting outdoors. Because all of these stimulate dopamine, which it counteracts against the inflammatory mediators. So you are starting to relax the system. And a healthy diet, of course. But most important is the support. Just speak to them. But if you as a parent are anxious and stressed, you're modeling that behavior for your child. And then they think that that is the correct behavior. And remember too that when this COVID started, we started telling the children, we're not allowed to go out. You're not allowed to touch people. We're in lockdown. Now suddenly you're saying they must go out. And what has changed? COVID is still there. The deaths are still there. But so now that anxiety is added to, because they've now got to go out where you told them in the beginning, or we were all told, that it's a very dangerous situation. And try to put their fears at rest, knowing that children are not completely immune to it, but if you look at the statistics, there have been very, very few deaths of children with COVID. It is mainly the older people. Now, the other thing to do that is very good for anxiety is yoga is good, but it's what we call grounding, especially when you feel a panic attack is coming on. And a panic attack feels like a heart attack because your whole chest gets tight and you can't breathe. So one needs to first take a few very deep breaths. Right in through the nose and then slowly out. 3 or 4 deep breaths. And then look around and find 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 emotion. This is called grounding. And as soon as you do this, you will feel that stress dissipating and you will not be as anxious anymore. This is also the grounding you can do with your children. What I do there is I'll tell them to go and look for things, the 5 things they can see, etc. And then they feel relaxed. With the younger children too, you've got these are called worry munchers. And what it is, it's for a little zip here, and the child can write or draw what they're worried about, and then they put it in there, and then the monster munches it all up. And when they go to bed, you can go and see what is worrying them so that you can help them with that stress. Now, you probably won't be able to buy one, but I'm sure a lot of people are very creative out there. You can try and make something. The other thing that works very well is a worry tree. And this I've done with the young children and the adolescents. So you make a tree from pipe cleaners. You can use clay. You can find twigs out in the garden. This is your worry tree. And before you go to bed every night, you can write on a piece of paper whatever your worries are, and you put it on the worry tree. And that just helps get it out of your mind so that you can go and have a good night's sleep, which is also extremely important when it comes to stress and anxiety. Hi, this is Mandy. Just to remind you, this is not psychotherapy. I am just giving you keys to help you through this time. If you need help, please go and see a therapist.